So I'll say it. Something shifted the day the Queen died, and if you've felt it too, like the country hasn't been the same since.
You know what blows my mind? In some countries, the corruption is obvious. You see it out in the open. But in the UK, corruption wears a suit.
Locals in a small Shropshire village have just forced a massive Home Office U-turn. The plan was to house up to 121 asylum seekers in 21 brand new houses on Dutton Close.
Here we go, boys. No more free speech for people talking out against the government.
We don't live in a democracy. We live in a dictatorship disguised as a democracy. The UK is going to shit. The government is ruining this country. And the question is, well, what do we do about it?
This is the door closing that's not intended to be opened again.
I've been talking a lot about the sun, the weather, the power of the sun, and when we had lockdown in the UK, if you remember, almost from the exact start of lockdown, which was March the 20-something, we started to experience clear skies, amazing sunshine, which lasted almost for the entire duration of lockdown. And then when lockdown ended, the weather changed.
You've got no idea what's coming, because in the next few years and the next couple of decades, this country is going to be completely transformed. And I say something in this book that people in Westminster, Oxford, Cambridge, they don't want me to say. They don't like people talking about it. They don't want people talking about it. But the blunt reality is the historic majority of people in this country are being demographically replaced. That is the reality. That's what I talk about in the book. It's what I show in the book. That's why the reaction to this book has been completely insane. People are trying to shut me down. They're trying to silence this book. They don't want people to read it, because what it is showing you very clearly is if we don't change course very quickly at the next general election, we are going to lose the Britain that we recognise and love, the England that we recognise and love, and it was going to be irreversible at that point.
Now, this is just another conspiracy theory, just another rumour, just hearsay, you know, don't shoot the messenger. But you know how we know the corruption that's going on in the BBC. We know it. We know they are falling like dominoes, and we shouldn't be shocked or surprised about any names we hear from now and in the future. But the craziest conspiracy theory that I'm hearing at the minute, but not impossible, is the fact that Childline, if you go down that rabbit hole, they believe that Childline was made in the 80s to filter the thousands and thousands of calls they were getting through about CA to do with the BBC. Considering Savile, hundreds and thousands.
Welcome to Blighty Blighted, your daily reminder that in Britain these days, yesterday's don't be ridiculous sometimes becomes today's, well, perhaps there's more to that story. Now then, have you noticed something? More and more people are asking questions, not because they've suddenly become conspiracy theorists, because trust has taken a knock. For years, if you questioned anything, someone would roll their eyes. Oh, don't be silly. Then 6 months later, more information comes out, a report gets published, an inquiry starts, documents appear, and people think, hang on a minute.
Honestly, when I think this country can't get any worse, it fucking does, right? So this 12-year-old girl here, same age as my daughter, it's all over the news, by the way, so this girl has gone to school because it's Culture Diversity Day. So where kids go and they speak about the heritage and their culture from their country or whatever, other countries. This 12-year-old girl has been made to sit in reception and be picked up by a dad because they won't allow it. So the fucking teachers removed this 12-year-old white girl from class because she was wearing a fucking Union Jack dress, and she had a speech about the heritage of fucking Great Britain. Honestly, all her speech entailed was like talking about how we drink tea, eat fish and chips, Shakespeare. We're like talking about the weather. We've got a royal family. Absolutely beautiful speech, right? And she wasn't allowed to fucking read it. And made to sit in reception and wait for a fucking dad to come and pick her up. This country is an absolute joke with no fucking backbone whatsoever.
Well, you're not wrong. She was patriotic, proud, and a fearless grandmother to Britain. On the 8th of September 2022, it wasn't just the end of a monarch, it was the end of a moral compass. Since then, Britain's been slipping fast, and now, under Labour, it feels like that shift has gone into utter overdrive. Farmers under siege, pushed to rewild to net zero to obey climate quotas instead of feeding the country. These aren't policies made by people who understand the land. They're written in glass offices, miles away from the mud and reality. Waspy women lied to, still waiting. Labour used their pain in opposition, but now in government, quiet, no justice, no compensation, just more waiting, kicked down the road again. The working class, silenced, branded, once the heartbeat of Labour, now a nuance to their agenda. ULEZ, LTNs, smart tech surveillance. They sell it as progress, but it's the working poor who pay for it, in fines, in fuel, in freedom, in speech. And businesses, not just small ones, all of them taxed, squeezed, surveilled and drowned in red tape. Labour talks like it's the party of growth, but every policy feels like punishment for daring to succeed.
What in the broken Britain? I'm just going to let you read this and make your own mind up. Fucking hell. There you go, Zia's just posted this not long ago. Have a read of that.
It was literally only yesterday that I made a video about the councils across the whole of the UK and how they're failing. They're involved with fraud, corruption, manipulation tactics to stop the truth coming out. And now we have a whistleblower talking about all of the things that I mentioned in my video yesterday. Watch this video and share this everywhere.
It's deliberate, and I think they know what they're doing.
Our whistleblower, whose identity we are protecting, is a special educational needs caseworker within a council, and what she's seen there has horrified her.
There are senior managers having meetings, and they joke about the ways that they're denying children access to their service, and actually joke about how they want to deny more children access to the service.
That's really shocking. And what are the things that you, as a caseworker, are specifically being asked to do?
We're being asked not really to leave a paper trail. They joke about the ways that they're denying children access to their service.
It's absolutely heartbreaking that everything that you already thought was happening is actually, they're laughing. They're sitting in their office and laughing. Wow, we're at home crying and breaking.
Locals dubbed the area Migrant Street because these weren't just any houses. These were new builds worth around £250,000 each. Resident Emma O'Sullivan said they'd been told these would be social houses for the community. And honestly, they feel lied to. It's not just about the houses, it's about the location. Stoke Heath is so isolated that the nearest shop is 4 miles away. Mark Pritchard MP called the whole scheme completely inappropriate for such a rural spot. On July the 2nd, over 100 residents packed into a parish hall to protest the plans. Right in the middle of it, the MP got a call from a senior Home Office official confirming they'd halted the entire thing. Serco might manage these sites, but the Home Office makes the final call based on national demand. The government's got a legal duty to house people, and they're trying to move away from hotels by 2029. But this time, local pressure actually worked. The Home Office confirmed they've halted the Dutton Close scheme because the site just isn't suitable. The people already moved in are being relocated, and the Migrant Street plan is officially dead.
I've been sitting by the pool today. There's one thing you do on holiday, is you have complete clarity, and you start thinking, what am I doing with my life? Where are we going? Especially in the UK. See, this is my first time in Portugal, and I was talking to a couple by the pool today. They lived out here for 6 years. They moved from the Netherlands and they've never looked back. And the way the UK is now, and there's 2-tier policing and the bill's just going up and up and up, and the government just taking the fucking absolute piss out of us because we're just worker bees to them. All we are is a blank checkbook because they don't give a fuck about us. It's just, what the fuck are we doing there? You know, the business I've got, I can move anywhere in the world. It's an online personalised gifts business. So I'm in a position to sell up and move abroad. And I'm seriously contemplating it. I know it's nice when you're sat by a pool having a couple of beers and you're chatting to people, but you start putting life into perspective. You're from the outside looking in at your life when you're on holiday. You think a lot clearer. Does anybody else do that? I just think, stay on the UK, it's not going to get any better, is it? It's just going to get fucking worse. It don't matter who gets into power. They all piss in the same bucket. If it's reform or whatever, they just do the same. Oh, promise you this, we'll do this, we'll change this. And when they're getting like, I don't remember saying that, I don't remember saying that, and they're all in there. They're all fucking lying bastards, just lying their own pockets. They're all as corrupt as each other. And I don't know what the way forward is, apart from getting the fuck out of the UK, because it's cooked. Would you agree?
Thank God I didn't actually do that YouTube page talking about politics, because first off, it's depressing, and also they'd messed your algorithm up. So YouTube has sent a dire warning to UK creators after the new government overreach will push mainstream news to the recommended section, with independent news sources being hidden. So any content creators like Landor and all those kind of guys, Paz, I'm guessing they're going to be bit in the arse with this stuff. The algorithm just isn't going to even be showing up for people. But yeah, they can't. So the media ban for teenagers, let me get this right, social media ban for people below 16. The schools can only teach your kids about what's actually going on in the world, because they obviously can't have access to the internet. And now even you can't actually have access to what's going on in the world. You can't be sharing stuff. It's all going to be on the news and only reported through these trusted media sources from the government. I'm starting to feel, are we in Russia? Like old Russia? Are we in communist Russia? Because that's the plan that they're setting out. But people will still be like, no, it's not happening. It's because you guys are telling lies. And it's like, well, we've got video proof here. No, it's all lies. I'm trusting the BBC. Fuck off. But yeah, that's what's going on at the minute. They're just going to silence anyone that actually does speak out against them, which is why you have to have places like X. And come on, we all know they're going to try and ban that eventually. What I suggest is Elon Musk needs to make his own kind of YouTube thing as well. You're a trillionaire now. Fucking throw a bit in. Go on, do it, please. And yeah, there you go. I thought you'd like to know that. You're being silenced every which way they could possibly, silence you. Might as well just fucking get a Nokia at this point, honestly. Might as well.
So I've seen this video circulating of this guy early hours of the morning getting set upon by 5 guys, and he's punched to the ground. And as he's getting up, these 5 guys run off, and a cop grabs him, and his instant reaction is to go for them because he thinks it's one of the 5 guys again coming for him. And it's like the cop arrests the guy. Don't go for the guys that were beating him up. They've seen the whole thing happen, so they knew what was going on. So logic, common sense would be that they know why he's reacted the way he has, and ask him if he's okay. What do? They arrest him, and they get away scot-free. And they've released a statement of Birmingham police saying, oh yeah, early hours, this guy was arrested at 1:30 that was fighting. He wasn't fighting, he was being beaten up by 5 guys. And they just run away and get away with it. 2-tier policing yet again. Unbelievable. I've seen the video, it's on here, and you can see it clear as day. And I'm describing what I've seen with logic, common sense. And that's what this world is missing, is common sense. Especially from the police of today. Fucking make it make sense. Absolute bollocks.
It hides behind businessmen, polished speeches, and promises of the greater good. The truth is, the UK is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Not in the bribery in the street kind of sense. Through lobbying, shady donations, government contracts being handed over to friends, and a financial system that launders global money. Basically the cartel. Instead of gangs, it's boardrooms and politicians in expensive suits. The wild part is, most don't even see that, because it's packaged to look professional. And that's how corruption survives here. It's hidden in plain sight.
And my feeling on that is, could it be a coincidence? Or could it be that the British public were being manipulated because when the sun is out, people are happy. We don't want so much. We can go sit in our gardens. People were encouraged to spend time outside, to take on DIY projects, gardening projects, just sitting in the sunshine, relaxing. People were overjoyed with the idea of spending time at home in their gardens, or being encouraged to spend time outdoors, with the absence of being able to do anything else. And what a wild coincidence that the British weather lined up perfectly with lockdown to make everybody just be satisfied. We're not going to complain about being asked to stay at home, get our furlough money, and just sit in the garden getting a tan whilst earning the money that I would have had from my job. If the weather had been bad and if people hadn't been offered the furlough, people would have been outraged. They would have refused to stay at home. That's just my thoughts.
What can we do as the people to fix this? And the answer is nothing really by ourselves. Each individual can't do much to change the system. But what each individual can do is work in a way that they free themselves from the system as much as they can. And then we work together as a country to say no. Because we have the right as a democracy to say no to the government. There's this absurd idea that somehow the government has the power to make you do something when they don't. The government is overstepping its mark. The government has forgotten who it works for. And it's time for the people to take back control of the country. Because think about it. If things continue the way that they're going right now, what kind of a world are our children going to inherit? What kind of taxes are they going to be paying? How many hours are they going to be working? You see, it's not about freeing ourselves for ourselves. It's about creating a future for our children where they can actually live in peace and harmony. The government needs to go. Or rather, the governance of the country needs to be put back in the hands of the people. Because that's what a democracy is. A democracy is where the majority decides. And we've been sold this idea that because we get to vote, somehow we have any power. But it doesn't matter who you vote for. The results are always the same. Taxes always go up. Your wages don't. So it's not really a democracy. We just have to obey what them in Westminster say. And it's time for us to form our own parliament, to work together and to change the future for our children.
And the idea is everything you do, I mean everything eventually, you will need a digital ID, and your digital ID will be connected to a digital currency. If you want to see what's planned for the West tomorrow, then look at China today, where if you are not behaving in a way that the government wants you to behave, then you lose credits in their social credit system. And if you lose enough, you can't go on a plane, you can't go on a train, basically take part in mainstream society. You are excluded. This is a global agenda. This is not about Keir Starmer, he's a gopher. It's not about Donald Trump, he's a gopher. And they're gophers for this global network that I call the global cult. And the idea is to eventually have a world government which won't be elected, purely appointed, technocrats, bureaucrats, that will oversee this AI digital system. And you won't be able to go anywhere in the world without this system is tracking you. Here we are now looking at this line in the sand, and if we allow it to be crossed, it's going to be very, very difficult to push back. And that's why it's so vital that the people of, well, this country, but all countries, realize the scale of freedom deletion this digital ID is a massive step towards and fundamental to the deletion of freedom.
Can we just discuss eggs for a minute? Like, I don't know if anyone else is finding this. Wait, I'll just show you. This is 5 eggs. Like, I don't think it's even enough for like 2 bits of bread, right? And like before, 6 eggs would do like 3 of us, easy, and debate, toddler, right? And now 5 eggs is barely enough for 1 person, right? Just to prove it, it is large eggs, right? British large eggs. It's almost like they're thinking we forgot what large eggs look like. Like, am I going absolutely crazy? Or large eggs, no longer large, they're what used to be small eggs. And why? Why is this happening? Why are they reducing our eggs and charging us so much more for it?
Good morning, everybody, and this is a very angry good morning. Because I've just been listening to the radio and they have now announced the opening date for the Silvertown Tunnel, the pointless bit of crap that they've been building for the last 2 years. So why so cross about it? Well, the charges for one, it is going to be £2.50 for a motorbike, £4 for a car or small van, £6 for a big van, and £10 for a truck. £10! And that wouldn't be too bad if you could take it or leave it. But you can't, because now they're going to fist you the same price to use the Blackwall Tunnel that's been free forever. Oh, I don't think this is a daily charge. This is each way. Each way. Now, a TfL spokesman says this will alleviate pressure on the Blackwall Tunnel, forcing drivers to take free alternatives instead. What, the Dartford crossing? What you pay for? I'll tell you what it's going to do. It's going to force all that East London traffic to use the A13, a road which is already absolute carnage. They're now going to shut the flyover, probably for the next 400 years while they sort that out. Force everyone up the highway where most of the lanes are blocked either by lorries waiting because they can't go into London before 7 o'clock for some benign reason. No one can start work before 7 o'clock. Then anyone that's parked outside McDonald's, so that essentially becomes a one-lane road. You can't go over Tower Bridge because that's owned by Thames Water and it's got an 18-ton weight limit on it. So it'll push everyone down the highway where they can trap you, because Lower Thames Street, they like setting up these commercial road vehicle checks. But they're not just doing it there now, because they know all the trucks are going to go over Southwark Bridge, they're doing it the other side of there as well. Team that with your rising fuel costs, congestion zone, ULEZ, being in fours and everything else. Just fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. And they've pulled this trick for so many years as well. What they do then is then set up sets of roadworks to make that particular area even more congested, and then they'll start charging you more for that as well. Now, I know and I appreciate this may not affect everyone that may watch this video, but these sort of schemes will get rolled out from city to city. They will be coming your way. Oh, but it's for the environment. No, it isn't. A truck that could do a 14-mile journey is now, yet like yesterday for me, had to do a 75-mile journey to get on site on time because I couldn't go through town and had to go round the motorway and then come in after that. How's that alleviating any sort of bloody environmental impact? Honestly, it's absolutely done me today. There was another guy on there saying that they was delivering some equipment into town. A truck came all the way from Germany, trouble-free, got to London, wasn't allowed into it because he wasn't in the fours scheme. Just stupid! Stupid! Have a good day. Keep it safe. Keep it lit.
So I'm back in Birmingham for the first time in a long time. And I got to say I don't miss this place whatsoever. Like, this place is so soul-sucking and it's just so dead. There's nothing to do. I'm currently at the Fort, the shopping centre, and it is just rammed. Like, I know it's Saturday, but it just goes to show that the UK is so crap. Like, there's nothing going on here at all. Like, it's that bad. You can't get a space at the Fort on a Saturday. It's like there's nothing to do. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows where to go. There's nothing to do if you've got kids. There's nothing to do for couples. Like, it's just so bad. Like, honestly, the sooner you can get out of here, the UK I'm talking about, the better. But yeah, there's nothing to miss here. Once you make the move abroad, I guarantee you won't miss anything about the UK. Another thing to add as well, everybody's just so depressed here. Everyone's so angry at life and nobody smiles here. Like, it's crazy. I've not had one conversation with one person here since I've been here. I'm talking about like a stranger. Like, wherever I go when I'm in a different country, everyone's always so polite, happy. They speak to you. You can make conversations. You can even like talk business with like strangers. It's mad. Like, here, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that. You smell with what you mix with, and I'm afraid to say, if you're mixing with people here, then yeah, I don't know what's gonna go on in your life, to be honest. But man, this place is crazy. Like, all the kids as well. Like, they've all got these ballys on and you can't see their face. I don't know what, they're not ballys. I don't know what they're wearing. It's just mad, like, yeah, I'm out.
We have managed in Britain, virtually uniquely in Europe, to avoid this kind of thing. We do not have a tradition of legitimated political violence. We'd avoided it. This has been, of many terrible developments, the worst. This is politicized violence. This threatens to be much worse. In the 1930s, it was essentially limited to tiny areas of London. The peculiar thing about this, did you notice what everybody was saying? Here in Epping, here in Essex, what's happened, Dan, is that a metropolitan fascination, the fascination that we must put the world, the whole world, before Britain, that the interests of the native population come last. That's a metropolitan obsession. But the consequences of it have been visited on provincial England that never asked for it, provincial England that never voted for it, provincial England that has to suffer, not the smart people in Islington, not the smart people in the Palace of Westminster, not the smart people in Hampstead. They can sit back over their lattes and say, aren't these little people disgusting? Shouldn't they read The Guardian too? And it is a terrible problem. We've now got simply not street violence, but we've got a widening gap between an indifferent, superior, sneering governing class that actually think they embody virtue. The key group, what you're seeing there, the stand up to racism lot, the Antifa, they're the foot soldiers of this lot. Those who go around with, pre-printed signs that go around masked up and all the rest of it. But behind them, there are really sinister groups like Hope Not that act as a kind of intelligence of this. And do you know what's just been what has just happened? There is emerging, and I'm not going to say it's proof, but there is very strong evidence of state participation. One of their agents provocateurs has been found using a fake passport in a fake name, with the fake place of issue, all the rest of it, which actually is a real passport, with all the biometric and other documentary details incorporated into it. That can only come from the Secret Services. Again, we've got to start telling the truth. Again, I'm not sure that I can hear myself saying it. If I had ever thought that I would talk about a deep state conspiracy, I would have thought I'd gone mad. This is the sort of stuff, dare I say it, Dan, of shows like yours.
Welcome to the club, David. Come on in.
People. What about you? But do you know what? You were right. You were right.
The UK economy is a giant scam, and you are all victims of it. Now, here's two simple statistics to put this into context for you. Britain is the 6th largest economy in the world. We're the 6th richest country in the world, which is pretty good, considering we're a small island nation of 70 million people. But we only rank 33rd in the world in terms of our living standards. So something there isn't adding up, right? Because you would have thought that if you're in the top 10 for richest countries in the world, you should at least be in the top 10 or even the top 20 for your living standards. But we're not. We rank 33, right? And there's no way you can only rank 33 in living standards in the 6th largest economy in the world. The only way that works is if somebody's taking your slice of the pie. And now I'm going to explain how that works. The UK economy is basically structured like a giant fucking Ponzi scheme, and a lot of that is predicated on property. It kind of started in the 1980s with Margaret Thatcher selling off all the council houses for big discounts and not replacing them. Successive governments embraced policies which inflated property prices. This means you pay more in rent. It means you have to spend more money to buy a house or buy a much shittier house. That means a decline in living standards. That has a dragging effect on living standards. That's a big part of why we're 33. We also sold off our energy, our rail, our telecoms, our water, our buses. We sold off all this stuff. The post office, the Royal Mail. We sold all that stuff off again for a discount to people to rent that stuff back to us for more than we were paying for it before. That's a fucking scam. So you add all that up, privatisation, right? All the funny business with housing, right? The fact that governments are so weak, they don't, levy windfall taxes on companies when they jack up prices, taking advantage of inflation. All of these things add up to the 6th largest economy in the world only generating living standards that rank 33 in the world. Because the whole thing is a giant fucking scam. And the scam continues. It continues. And it will be allowed to continue as long as people keep falling for it. As long as people keep pointing the finger at immigrants, or culture war issues, or woke. It's got nothing to do with state assets, which your tax money created and maintained being sold off on the cheap to be rented back to us for a higher price. It's got nothing to do with that. That's what they'll tell you. They'll keep getting you to point your finger at the immigrants. And unfortunately, the British education system hasn't taught people to identify scams effectively. We've got a big problem with fraud in this country. It's like our number one crime. A lot of old people fall for scams online, don't they? Give us your pension and, we'll look after it for you. Oh, vote for Reform UK, we'll look after you.
Hey guys, so yeah, this one is wild. I've broken this down as much as I possibly could just to give you the clear, concise elements and conclusions of what this woman is basically saying. But I've just watched an episode of Trigonometry, which I'm sure you're about to know what I'm going to mention, which is to do with this net zero fiasco. It's just unreal, the stuff that's being uncovered here and why they're pushing it, and just it's really deep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to address each component, talk to you guys, and then just go along and try and make it as quick as possible within 10 minutes. But here we go. So introduction here is that this conversation comes from the Trigonometry podcast hosted by Constantine Kissin and Francis Foster. Their guest is Catherine, an independent energy consultant with over a decade of experience advising across the political spectrum. She began her career in finance, then moved into energy trading before founding her own consultancy. She now speaks at major political conferences and advises policymakers on the realities of Britain's energy system. So her testimony is important because it reveals how government policy on energy and net zero is driving up costs, undermining grid stability and putting the country at risk, not by accident, but through ideology. Through ideology, okay? Remember, we keep bringing up the £350 billion by 2050, 80 billion of which is coming from the taxpayer. The rest is meant to come from some foreign investment, despite the massive exodus of high net worth individuals actively leaving the UK because of increase in taxes and just not enough benefits for businesses or even SMEs to even function or flourish here, which is a point of distinction, by the way. So paragraph breakdown here. So here we are. So Catherine explains that Britain has some of the highest electricity prices in the developed world, the highest industrial electricity prices and the 4th highest domestic prices. This is not due to lack of energy resources, but because of bad policy decisions. So based on bad policy, we are now in some sort of controlled loop of just paying the most expensive energy bills on the planet. In fact, I think we are number one, by the way. That's the first point. Instead of raising money transparently through taxes, the government shifted the cost of listen to this, shifted the cost of renewable subsidies onto household bills. Okay? This has created a system of hidden taxation. So the taxpayer doesn't know they're paying for these things because it's put into bills whereby it's not checked or reviewed. So adding billions of pounds every year to energy costs without public scrutiny. That's how they're getting away with it. Again, this is just as a disclaimer, this is her saying this. I'm just reporting on what's been said publicly already. This has had over 500,000 views already, and it's barely been up for 6 hours. So do with that what you will. But I'm only reporting on what's been reported. I'm not coming up with this on my own, just for my own safety here, because this is really sensitive stuff. So, point number 4. A clear example is the Sea Green wind farm off the Scottish coast. It opened in late 2023, but by 2024, 2/3 of its output was curtailed. Consumers were forced to pay both the wind farm to switch off and gas power stations to generate instead, effectively double paying for the same electricity. This is nuts. So despite this, Britain has already spent nearly £2 trillion since 2006 on net zero policies. Yet, official forecasts admit we will not see any financial benefit until at least 2038 to 2042. And even those estimates are based on cost assumptions that Catherine says are absolute garbage. Oh dear. Mr. Miliband, your time to come up on the chopping block, sir. What is going on? This woman is a whistleblower. She is an outright whistleblower. Like, this is crazy. What she also said, which is not mentioned here, is we came this close to a blackout in January of this year because we don't have enough power grids to support the energy output or something of that nature. I might have bastardized that sentence, but effectively, we're putting our hats on backwards here and we've just got terrible policy. She said that Germany is even worse, but they somehow get around it because they're not charging as much. But we've got this sort of ideological policy surrounding things that we think are good because it looks like we're acting like we're doing good things, but really it's just doing nothing but damage. We're importing a lot of energy as well, which is no good for us. Like, this is a disaster. This is not good. Let me just, take my hat off to Catherine Porter for talking about this. She's got a big pair, I'll give her that, because this is really sensitive information. And she goes into statistics and all sorts of data.
Now let's be sensible. Not every wild theory turns out to be true. Far from it. Some deserve to stay exactly where they belong, in the bin. But history also shows that governments, corporations, and powerful institutions can make mistakes, keep information back, or simply get things badly wrong. That's why healthy skepticism matters. There's a world of difference between asking questions and believing everything you read on the internet. I think that's where many ordinary Brits are today. They're less willing to accept polished statements at face value. They want evidence, they want honesty, they want transparency. And after everything that's happened over the past few years, can you really blame them? Whether it's the cost of living, promises that never quite materialize, corporate scandals, or public inquiries that seem to take forever, people are starting to connect the dots and think for themselves. Trust, once lost, is harder to replace than a cheap loaf of bread. Brits have always been skeptical. It's practically a national pastime. We don't believe the weather forecast. We don't believe politicians during election season. And now plenty of people don't automatically believe the glossy press release either. That doesn't mean every rumor is right. It doesn't mean every conspiracy is real. It simply means people have learnt an old lesson. Ask questions. Look at the evidence. And don't confuse confidence with truth. Perhaps Britain isn't waking up to every conspiracy. Perhaps it's simply waking up to the importance of healthy skepticism. Cheerio, everyone, and I will see you all in the next video, and that's the truth.